Okay, so this video is about functions. Functions are an important part of C as well as C++. Functions play a very important role in object-oriented programming. For example, when you have classes in OOPS, classes are the main features of OOPS. And classes, what are classes? Classes is a collection of variables and functions. So, so to know about classes, you must know about functions. And secondly, the other features of OOP such as constructors, operators, they all are functions. Then you have virtual functions, inline functions. So for these all features of OOPS, it is very important that you know about functions. Okay, so let me give you an example. Suppose we want to add two numbers. Okay, so how will you add two numbers? You will take two variables, int a comma b, and then you will take sum equals to a plus b, and then you will print it. So this is how you will add two numbers. Now suppose what happens if you want to add two more numbers, then again you have to write again same code. You have to write you have to write c in a and b, c in a, c in b, and then again sum, and then again c out, right? Okay, so again suppose if I want to add two more numbers, then again I have to write the same code. Okay, so for adding more numbers we have to write the same code again and again. So what we can do is we can create function to avoid this situation. Suppose I have created a function to add two numbers. So the function is called sum. Okay, inside this sum I am taking int a and b equals to 20. Now I will take int add equals to a plus b. Then you can print add, cout add. Okay, so I have created this function. Now how can I use this function to add two numbers? So inside your main function, what you can do is you can call this function sum. So this is how you call a function. To call a function means that you want to run that function. Okay, so when you write sum and then bracket, this function will be run. Now what will happen? It will take value of a 10 and b 20 and it will add these two, and then again it will print these numbers. Now suppose if I call this function again, now what will happen? Again same thing will be done. It will add these two numbers and print the sum of those numbers. Suppose if I call this function two more times, sum and then again sum. Now what will happen? Four times the sum will be printed. Okay, so in this manner our code is reduced. We don't have to write the same code again and again. We simple call that function how many times we require that function to use. Okay, so this is the benefit of function, that you don't have to write the same code again and again. Okay, but now here one thing, there is one problem. This function is not very useful. It will only add the same two numbers 10 and 20. Suppose you want to add different numbers every time you run this function, so what will you do? So in that case we can take pass parameter to the function. How? Suppose I am writing within the bracket, we can take parameters int a, int b. Okay, so these are called parameters of a function. After the function name you can write the parameters inside bracket. So when I call this function, suppose I am calling this function, when calling you can pass any values. For example, I am passing 1 comma 2. Now what will happen? This 1 will go inside the first parameter, this 2 will go inside the second parameter. So 1 will go inside a, 2 will go inside b. Okay, now you don't have to take the value of a as 10 and b. We can remove this part. We can simply take add equals to a plus b and print add. Okay, so if I am calling this with 1 and 2, then 1 will be put into a, 2 will be put into b, and they will be added and sum will be printed. Okay, 1 will be put into a, 2 will be put into b, then they will be added and then printed. Now I can add, suppose I want to add other numbers, then I will call sum. I want to add 5 and 3. Now 5 will be put into this A, 3 will be put into this B, and those numbers will be added. So this is how you can pass parameters. These are called parameters. You can pass parameters to function and you can call it with different parameters and you can add different numbers. Okay. Similar thing we can do with any other operation. Suppose I want to multiply two numbers. Then I can simply put multiply symbol here and they will be multiplied. Okay. Now suppose if I call this function and I only pass one parameter 100. Now what will happen? This has two parameters but I am calling it with only one parameter. Now what will happen? There will be an error. There will be a compiler error. Okay? Because there are only one parameter and you are there are two parameters and you are passing only one parameter to this function. Okay? So what you can do here is this will be an error. The number of values that you pass should be equal to the number of parameters. If there are two parameters, you should always pass two values. You cannot pass three values or you cannot pass one value. Okay, it is compulsory that the number of parameters and number of values that you pass should be the same. Okay. So now let us see how this function works. When you create a function, then this function will be in separate memory and this function will be in separate memory. All the functions will have separate memory. Okay. So when you call this function, suppose I have created two more functions, multiply I am creating two more functions, multiply and int a comma int b and product equals to a into b, c out. Okay, so this is a similar function but it is for multiplication. Similarly, I am creating a function for subtraction, int a and int b, difference equals to a minus b, c out, difference. Okay, so now there are three functions: multiply, add and subtract. Now I will call all these functions in the same manner. I am calling sum, I can call multiply 5, 6. I can call subtract 10, 2. Okay. So now when these functions call are made, how are they executed in the memory? Suppose this is your main function and this main function is in one part of memory. Now what happens when you call this some other function? Suppose this main is calling some function, then this sum function is not allocated any memory until it is run. Suppose you are running the sum function here, so memory will be given to this function only when it is called. Suppose you are calling multiple function here, multiply function here, so memory will be allocated only at this time. For example, suppose this is main and when the function will start from here, then it will go here and then when your program reaches here, it will call sum. Okay, when this function is called, memory will be allocated for sum. Okay, so your program will jump from here to here to some function in this manner. Okay, so your program will move from one function to other function whenever that function is called. Then your program will go here, then it will go here, then it will go here, then it will go here, and then this function will stop here. After that, your program will come back here. Okay, then this function will be executed. Then your program will jump to that function. Then this will be executed, this will be executed. When this function finishes, it will come back. Then your program will come here. Then that function will be executed and so on. So when you call any function, memory will be allocated to that function. And when this function comes back, its memory will be destroyed. Similarly, next time when multiply function is called, memory will be allocated to multiply function. And when multiply function comes back, its memory will be destroyed. Okay? So in this manner, memory will always be allocated in a dynamic manner. Whenever it is required, then only memory will be allocated. Now suppose I am calling sum function here, and inside this sum function I am calling multiply function 2, 5. And inside this multiply function I am calling subtraction function subtraction with 5, 10. Okay. Now let us see what will happen. I am calling sum function. Sum function is calling multiply function, and inside this multiply function, subtraction function is being called. Now how memory will be allocated? So main function will call sum. Then this sum function will call multiply. And then this multiply will call subtract. This way. Okay. So each function is calling another function. So this is a very bad example of calling functions. You should never call these functions like this, because there are 4 memory slots allocated to functions. Okay. If you call them one by one, then only 2 memory slots are allocated. For example, I am calling main, and then I am calling sum. Okay. After that, this memory will be destroyed, and next function will be called main and multiply. After that, its memory will be destroyed, and next function will be called main and subtract. So if you call these functions one by one, like sum, multiply and subtract, then this will be done. If you call these functions like this, one function inside another function, then memory will be allocated like this. So in this manner, there are 4 memory slots are allocated. Here only 2 memory slots are allocated. So this is a good way to call functions. You should never call functions like this. It will create a chain of functions and more memory will be used. Okay. And second thing is return type. Okay. Now we have only seen what are the functions without any return type. These functions are not returning any value. Okay. So now, suppose if I want to print this add here, this is main function. I am calling sum of 1 and 2. Now the result is 1 plus 2, add equals to 1 plus 2. See out add. The result is in add, and the result is 3. Suppose I want to print it here. See out add. Now this will be an error. Why? Because the memory location of main and sum are different. So main cannot access the memory location of sum. Okay. So this add is inside this sum. So main cannot access it. So there will be a compiler error. Okay. This main does not know about this add. So how can you print the value of add here? So for this, what we have is return. This function can return some value to main. Okay. So when main is calling the sum function, sum will calculate add, and it will, when the sum function finishes, it will return the value of add to main. It will return it. This is called return type. Okay. Whenever function finishes, it will return the value to main. Now main can use that value. Otherwise, main cannot access anything inside the sum. Suppose add is here. Main cannot access the add because they are in separate memory location. But when sum returns the value to main, then main can access this add. Okay. So how do we return any value? We can write here return add. Now when this function finishes, it will come back here. Okay. When you call this function, it will start from here and it will jump here. And when this function finishes, it will come back to same line. Okay. So why it will come back to same line? Because it will return a value. So you can take another variable here in and you can return the value to that x equals to sum. Now the value returned by this sum will be passed to x. So whatever the value is returned by sum, it will be passed to x. Now you can print x. See out. So you have passed this add value to x and then you can print x. Okay. Another way is you can directly print sum. You can directly route C out here. I can route C out and sum. So whatever is the value returned by this sum, it will be given to C out and it will be printed. Now for this return, for returning any value, there must be a return type. So here you must write int. Okay. So if int is written, it means that this sum is returning int value, integer value. Now you cannot return any character value here. If you try to return a character value, then this will be an error. If you try to return a float value, then this will be an error. Okay, you must return the same value that is specified here. If you are writing a pointer here, int star, then this must return pointer. Okay. So I have written int, so it must return int. Now when calling this function, you don't have to write int. You simply have to write the name of function. Okay. Whether it is returning any value or not, you don't have to write int. But when writing this function, you have to write int sum or whatever is the return type of sum. For example, char sum, float sum, like this. If it is not returning any value, then you can write void sum. Void sum. Okay. So here, whatever the value is returned by sum will be given to C out, and C out will print it. So suppose I am taking int here. Okay. Now, suppose if I am writing return 5, it means this function will return the value 5. Now what will happen if I write return -5? Then again it will return the value -5. Okay. Now what will happen if I write return 6 after this? Okay. Suppose if I write return 5, 10 plus 5, 10. Now what will happen? This is wrong. Okay. You cannot return two values. You can only return one value. You cannot return more than one value. So it will be an error. You can either return 5 or you can either return 10. Okay. You can't return more than one value. Second thing is, you can write return many times. Return 10, return 1. You can write it 3 different times. But it will only return the first value. It will always return 5. Okay, it will never go to 10. After returning 5, the function will come back and return 5, always. So you can have multiple return, but it will only return the first value. You can take it inside an if. For example, if I am writing if a equals to 0, return b. I can do this. If a equals to 1, return 2. Okay. So we can put two different return statements inside if. If the value of a is 0, then you can return b. If the value of a is 1, then you can return 2. You can do this. Okay. So this is all about functions. We have seen how we can create functions, how we can call the functions, how we can pass values to functions, and how we can return any value from functions. Okay. So functions will be very important for your OOP and for understanding constructor, destructors, for polymorphism, and for virtual function, inline function. Okay. So this is all about function. Okay. Thank you.